Now, consistency with your vlogs and YouTube videos is absolutely king to success and growing your channel, but it's just not always that easy. It's really difficult to keep that momentum going. Maybe you started well in January and now you've got a few weeks in and you're realizing it's difficult and your videos aren't growing quite as well as maybe you hoped they would. Or perhaps you took a break and now you're struggling to get the motivation back again. Well, that's exactly where I'm at. I took some time off for family and now I'm struggling to get back into recording. Don't get me wrong, I'm working hard, I'm doing everything else, but I'm not recording videos because videos require momentum. For some reason, even if you enjoy doing it, we need an extra push to go outside and do these vlogs, to pick up the camera, to download. It just seems like an extra chore. We just can't really get back into it. And I see my students having the same issues, that they struggle to get that momentum going again after they've taken a break, or maybe they get sick, or perhaps things aren't going as well and they just don't feel as motivated. So I'm going to share with you some of my hacks that help me, that I'm actually doing now to get back into it again, and hopefully these will help you as well to be able to fire up and remain consistent. The first thing that I like to share with students, and that I like to try and do for myself, is that I always like to have a content buffer. So when you're thinking about your content and how many videos you can produce in a week, especially if you're doing the simple style I've been talking about in other videos with your vlogs, then maybe you can produce more content. But it's important that you have a realistic conversation with yourself and say, look, how many videos can I actually do? Can I do probably 3 videos? If you're saying probably 3 videos, and obviously I want you to push yourself, but then maybe you should do 2 so that you can create a content buffer. And this always reminds me of when I was in school and I was at the races, and we're doing this sort of, what do you call those sports days, where you're competing against all the other students there and you're doing lots of track and athletic stuff. And I was always pretty good at the sprint, but I wasn't great. I was sort of in the mid-range. So I could do the 100 meters, but there was always people that were bigger, faster, stronger, and they could go further than me. But the 1500 meters was a race that I really loved. You still had to go quickly, so it wasn't like a marathon, because you still want to push yourself and get some speed. But it was over a longer time scale. And those same people that could beat me in the sprint, after a couple of laps, they started off incredibly fast, lots of motivation, really going hard, but then they started to lag. And then I started to catch up to them within the second lap, and then I would overtake them, and it feels amazing to run past your competitors and actually start to beat them, and in some cases, even lap them on the final lap. So I really like the 1500, and I think YouTube and your vlog is really more like the 1500 meters. Yes, if you start too fast, you're going to potentially burn out and you're not going to be able to maintain that pace. So it's important that you create a pace that you can keep up with. So if you can do realistically 3 videos at an absolute push, then do 2 videos. If you can only do maybe at a push 2 videos, then, I would suggest that you really do try to do 2, but otherwise do 1 and create a buffer. And then as you get systems and you get faster and you think you can do more, then do more. But it's more important to have a buffer of, I like to try and have at least a month's worth of videos so that I can take a break if I get tired, I get burnt out, or if I want to work with clients more or work on another project or do something else, I have that content buffer. And it's much easier to create content when your mind is free and you're not in an urgent pressure to do it. So that content buffer for me is a really key thing. So yeah, make sure that you're getting your number of uploads at a pace that you can maintain. The other one is having a bin, something I like to have a call a bin of ideas. And this is basically that you want to make sure that you've got an endless supply of content ideas. Now, if you're doing YouTube, then chances are you're watching a lot of YouTube videos, and you're going to be finding many other people's content ideas. And just something I like to do when I'm in there is I like to organize all of my stuff. And I could do another video on this if you guys want to know more about it. But we do have a community where you've got full training on the different aspects of this and organizing yourself and everything else. So we'll put a link to that in the video description. But essentially, I use a tool called ClickUp. You can use any tool out there, but I find ClickUp to be a good one because it allows me to put images inside. And what I do is I've got a bin of ideas. So hopefully you can see this. I've got a bin of ideas, and these are things that I screenshot from other people's channels. And these aren't even necessarily channels that are in my niche. They're just ones that I like the title and the actual idea, and I think that I can repurpose for myself. So I'm always, and I've got this on my phone and I've got it on my iPad, I'm always screenshotting things and then saving them into ClickUp. So it's just like a bin where I'm just dropping ideas into it, copying their title, copying their thumbnail, and throwing it inside. And a lot of these ideas are going to be crap and maybe I'm never really going to use them. But some of them, when I have time, I come back and I shortlist. So I start to shortlist these here and then develop them a little bit and say, okay, these ones have got some potential. Maybe I can start to add some ideas into here, and I move them across. And then if I think they've got even more potential, I'm starting to develop some ideas so that I can start creating actual videos around these. I then move them into a thumbnail section, and that's where I develop the thumbnail and the title. I use a number of different tools to basically sort of regenerate titles, but otherwise I just play around with them. You could use ChatGPT or whatever, anything else. But otherwise I just basically tweak their titles to make it relevant for my niche. And then if I like that, then I can create a thumbnail around it. And if I can create a thumbnail around it, then what I'm going to do is then move here for ready for scripting. So once I've got the thumbnail and I've got the title, I then want to move it across for scripting, where I then come up with some bullet ideas and some bullet points for me to speak to. And those bullet points are going to allow me just to freestyle and talk on the topic. Now, obviously, this is where it makes life easier that you actually know about the topic you're talking about so that you can just talk freely on it. But those bullet points mean that I don't waffle too much and I sort of stay on target with the video. I stay on topic for the video and I can move through. And then we move through to all of the different stages where we'll then be recording, editing, doing the description and everything else, and then uploading the video. And I can even have a section where I then review it afterwards and sort of delve down into it. Now, the benefit of this is that I've always got ideas I can work from, because you want to make it as easy as possible for you to create content. If you have to go through the entire ideation process of coming up with an idea, developing that idea to then record, and you do that for each video one at a time, it's going to be laborious. You're just not going to do it. It's going to be too hard to record a video when you have some spare time. But if I know I have a spare 20 minutes and I can just turn on my light and start recording to the camera like I am now, then that just makes it so much easier and so much faster. And, that's another point I'm going to get onto very soon, which is keeping it simple, really. In fact, let's go on to this now. Keep it simple. Remove friction. So by having all of my ideas ready to go, I've removed friction. By having a camera, which is just a webcam, plugged into my computer with a light setup that I can just turn on and a microphone ready to go, or using my phone when I'm out and about, or using my action camera so I can just record when walking down the beach or going for a walk. I'm always ready. I've removed friction. It's much easier for me just to press record and start creating the content. So keep things as simple as possible. And that's why I love this vlogging format, because you're going to create more content. You're going to enjoy it more. It's going to be more fun. And that's something I like to often ask myself. What would this look like if it was easy and fun? Because you want to make it fun. If it's something that's fun and easy and simple, you're going to do more of it because you're not going to mind. You're going to look forward to it. It's not going to feel like a chore. And you remember when we're young, we hate doing chores because they were boring, mundane things that we didn't really want to do. We were just doing them because our mum told us to do it. So that's an important thing that you really want to make sure that you're doing. Remove friction and make things as simple as possible for you to just press record. The next one is a piece of tool, and I'm actually using this right now. Hopefully you can see that. I've got a countdown timer here. And this is a 100-minute timer that is counting down. And what I do is I use Alex Hormozi's idea of the 100. He actually says 300, but I think 100 for most people on a daily basis is more realistic. So what we mean by 100 is doing 100 minutes of content creation each day. And this basically means everything that you're doing in terms of content creation. So that's the idea, research, thumbnail, title development, all of the things I was doing with the idea side within ClickUp. And then what you want to do is the recording and editing and uploading on all of that as well, but nothing else. That 100 minutes is only on content creation. It's not for you to engage with your community. It's not for you to create products. It's not for you to do anything else apart from making video content. So if you do stop and change topic, then I stop the timer, and then I only restart the timer when I actually start the process or start tasks that are involved in content creation again. Now, I did use my iPad for this, and you can use your phone or whatever else. But the reason I bought this, and these are like $5. This cost me next to nothing. It's quite plasticky. I think there's probably better quality ones. It's got a magnet on it so I can stick it somewhere. But the benefit of this is there's no distractions. I found with my iPad, I was easily getting distracted, and this is just a big dial timer, and I can just focus on chatting to you guys. I've got this going here, and you'll be surprised how much work you can get in a focused 100 minutes. And what I really love about it is every time I change topic and I press stop, I realize that maybe 3 hours passed, and I've only gone halfway down through my timer, which means I'm getting distracted too much. So that means that I need to get rid of all of that other stuff that's distracting me. Because 100 minutes of pure content creation, I almost guarantee you could pretty much create an entire video in 100 minutes a day. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but let's say you could definitely do one every other day, because that's 3 hours of focused content creation, you can definitely upload a vlog. So really, that simple hack has been absolutely game-changing for me. So if you've got spare $5, order one of these off whatever country you're in, whatever service, be it Amazon. Here in Thailand, it's something called Lazada. But you can get them really, really easily. So just order one of those. Otherwise, just start with your phone or whatever else. But 100 minutes per day of focused content creation. And the next one is accountability. Now, it's massively important that you have some form of accountability to help you stay on track. Now, obviously, if you want to make money online, if you want to grow your YouTube channel, if you want to do any of these things, it's what you do when no one's looking that really, truly matters. So we need an element of accountability in our life. Now, you can join our free community. We can give you some accountability in there. We have a 30-day challenge, which will help you get fired up and help you take the daily steps towards your goals. It's completely free at this moment in time, so you can just join that and get free accountability. But otherwise, your family members or your friends, you could ask them to give you a degree of accountability. You could ask them to check in and say, did you do your daily 100? Or did you do your 3 videos upload this week? Just to give you a little push. Now, obviously, we all resist people holding us accountable, but get them to do it in a simple way. Just asking the 100 or just asking, how did your videos go this week? Then that will give you a degree of motivation and accountability of someone checking in. But we do need that extra motivation to make sure that we're doing the work when no one's looking. So those are my consistency hacks. Hopefully they help you. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you inside the next one.